First of all, I'd like to say that I just happened to be in China at the time of the Wuhan outbreak. And of course, I was there with a delegation of people that I had assembled because the drums of war were beating in the United States against China. And the reason that was being given in the propaganda was that China was mistreating its Muslim population. So I decided to find a group of people who were willing to pay their own way and go to China and find out for ourselves. Is it true or is it not true? Or is this just another example of US propaganda, one more time leading us down the primrose path of war? And so I was able to find 20 people, two from the UK, 18, including myself, from the United States. We went there and we immersed ourselves in Muslim China. And our intention when we returned to the United States was to do a book about being Muslim in China. We started in Beijing and then we ended up in Xinjiang. We spoke to Uyghurs in Xinjiang, but we spoke to Muslims who lived in the other parts of China who were not Uyghurs. So we talked to everyone and we gathered information together, but then all of that was superseded by the developments that were taking place in Wuhan that we had no knowledge of. So when we left China, 10 days later, China locked down. And then after China locked down, Italy locked down. And after Italy locked down, the world locked down. So in this book, I decided that I would get someone from China. I would get someone from Italy. I would try and understand. The name of the book is When China Sneezes, from the coronavirus lockdown to the global political economic crisis. It was published in August of 2020. So this book contains all the information that we know about SARS coronavirus 2, the spike protein, and the political implications of the lockdowns, the political and the economic implications of the lockdowns. Everything up that was known up until August 2020. And then you could say that a torrent of information came after that, and we could probably do an update. But if there was no doubt in the minds of the contributors of this book, like, for example, Whitney Webb, who chronicles what DARPA had been doing with coronaviruses. So there's no doubt that there was another hand, a hidden hand that was at play here. We have a person who experienced the Italian lockdown. We've got Chinese who experienced the Chinese lockdown, and non-Chinese who experienced the Chinese lockdown, who live in China. So we were able to get information from all of them, and we were able to call early on that this was not what we were being told it was. We know that there were individual personalities that were involved in the creation and then the promotion and ultimately the use of this biological weapon that was developed in the spike protein. And we have to understand why this is all happening. But there is no doubt that a small group of insiders able to control events and their aftermath, including the narrative, investigation, and the cover-up, are responsible. And who are these individuals. Well, one of them, Nancy Messonnier, is responsible for vaccines. So we've got these vaccines deployed, and Nancy Messonnier, director of the CDC's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases. That's her bailiwick. We also know that ethical breaches have occurred, but that is the bailiwick of Dr. Christine Grady, none other than the wife of one of the principals. Peter Daszak made sure that our tax dollars were transferred to Eco Health Alliance, and then a portion of that, not very much of it, went to Chinese scientists and the Wuhan lab engaged in the research. The cover-up, we can look to a Nobel laureate for the cover-up. And then Ralph Barrick, who performed the gain-of-function studies at the University of North Carolina. So we have a cast of characters, but the main character is Fauci, or Fausti. I like to think he made a deal with the devil. And Robert Kennedy Jr. has a book now that will give us the information we need to know about Fauci. I can't wait to read it. So some of us were able to discern this matter from its inception, and some of us got busy at that very moment. With me, it was just, putting the book together. With others, it was being able to translate scientific information into everyday parlance so the average audience viewer would be able to understand what was happening to them. And now we are able to put together, I agree with Dr. David Martin, who says that there need to be prosecutions. There need to be prosecutions. And if our elected officials won't do the prosecutions, we need to get rid of them and get other elected officials who will. I will conclude with this quote from another president, a president who spoke truth. And his truth got him killed. President John Kennedy said, "Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable." Let us not stop until we have exhausted every means possible to have that peaceful revolution. And then finally, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we need a revolution of values. That's the revolution of which we all speak. Thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this conference, and I wish you all success.